Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your location, wherever you are joining us from today. Thank you for joining. My name is Bukola. I am Coach Kiki, the founder of Alpha Teens Hub. And so let me just quickly tell you about Alpha Teens Hub. Alpha Teens Hub is a learning platform where we empower and support teenagers as they go through or navigate challenges of adolescence. So we offer wealth of resources from expert coaching, mentoring programs, and engaging activities to help them boost their confidence and also support them to thrive and also reach their full potential. So Afroteens Corner is a vibrant live stream segment of Afroteens Hub where we'll be discussing, on several topics that relates to teenagers and even parenting. And so today, on the first episode, we are going to be talking about a beautiful and important topic. And joining me very soon, very shortly, they are in the studio already. I have two incredible, amazing mentees of mine, and I'm so glad they will be joining me today. So, without wasting much time, let me add them to stage. Yes, Victor and Tommy, can you hear me?
Sure. Good evening, ma. From Nigeria, of
Yeah,
course.
I can agree.
Oh, good. And I'm so excited. I'm glad to have you guys join me. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for saying a big yes to me when I said I would like you to join me on this first episode. So welcome again to this episode of the Afroteens Corner. So guys, you need to hear them, you need to hear what they have to say. I'm not going to say much. I want them to tell us their stories themselves, share with us their journey. So starting with you, Tumi, can you just share with us, tell us about yourself? Let's meet you. And I'm very big on values. I would also like to know, and I want you to share with the audience, what are your values? What are you passionate about?
Okay. Firstly, I also want to say thank you very much, as Coach Kiki and Buki, as for giving me this opportunity. So my name is Tommy Bickerstedt. I just go by Tommy. I'm currently a computer science student at university here in Canada, and I'm passionate about technology. Using technology to solve people's problems, and using technology to just help like and anyone in general. So some of my values are integrity, honesty, and compassion. But I would say, more recently, I've been leaning into, compassion and empathy, and, like learning to help people, understanding with people, and knowing how you as a person can impact people around you. So yeah, that's really all about me for now. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. Compassionate. Really, that's really beautiful. And I'm glad you have such values. So over to you, Victor. Can we meet you and share with us what you're passionate about and your values?
All right. First of all, thank you, Coach Kiki, for the opportunity and the privilege. I'm really excited to be here. All right. I go by the name Prince Victor Adoga. I'm a student of History and International Relations, Federal University of Lafia, Nigeria, Nasarawa State, Nigeria. My values are just two, very straightforward: love and balance. I would say those are my values. I have this passion to raise a couple of young people who can be impactful in every aspect of their lives. You know, that energy where you are good academically, you are good with leadership, your work with God is okay, you have something doing financially, just having this speck of balance and impacting your world with every aspect of your life. So my values are basically love and balance.
Love and balance.
Yes,
Beautiful.
ma'am.
I mean, like even Jesus said we should love our neighbors as ourselves. So
Sure.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. All right. So I want us to break the ice a little. I do this wherever I'm coaching and all that. So what can you, if you had to pick a color, yeah, and an animal that would represent or that you can relate to, that you can say, oh, this is me. So yeah, so go back to Tommy now. What color best represents you and why, and also an animal.
For colors, I think I'll go with blue. I'm currently wearing blue. Because I consider myself a very like cool and like calm person. I think blue represents like cool and calm. And for animals, I think I'll actually go with an owl. Because owls are
Mm.
very like observant. Like I'm not someone that talks a lot. Like I mostly prefer to just like listen. And so I would say like an owl, because owls are very like observant, and they just like, and they watch if you haven't done anything. So yeah.
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 That's interesting. I've never thought of that. Blue, calm and collected, and then how? Yeah, good one. Thank you, Thumi. Thank you. I'm just wondering why I can't see people's comments, and I just hope. All right, so Victor, let's go to you. What color best represents you, and what animal?
Okay, for colors, I would pick purple. For me, purple represents reality. Yeah. Anywhere I go, I just love to carry myself the way I've seen myself in the next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. That collection of guy, you deserve honor as well as give people honor. So I feel purple is actually having that speck of attracting honor and giving honor to whom honor is due. For an animal, I would say a lion. And I picked that animal recently actually. I barely get scared of things. I barely get scared of things. I can see something
Wow.
at my feet, and then I know, man, this thing looks bigger than me. But I'll just tell myself it's not that deep. We'll get it
Mm.
done. Yeah. So that's my take on that.
Oh, that's interesting. Purple is royalty, so you can, yeah, I think that's also what you were talking about when you said, oh no. And animal, bravery, courage, lion. Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you. I'm learning as well. All right, so moving on. So both of you are students, yeah, like I know. How do you balance schoolwork, yeah, extracurriculum activities, personal interests without getting overwhelmed? How do you balance that? So I'm going to ask Tommy now. Yeah.
Okay. As for me, so I'm currently a computer science student, and my workload sometimes is extremely heavy. Sometimes I have, a bunch of things due at the same time. So I would say, for someone like me, I sort of set an order of like priority, and I would have to say it's actually hard not to get overwhelmed. So the purpose of setting an order of priority is, even if I do get overwhelmed, I would be able to achieve all the things that I want to achieve in order of how they're important to me. So I would say I have my school academics as, the top of my list. Then I have personal interest second, and extracurriculars last. I mean, this could vary, depending on your course, depending on what you want to study, because my course load is heavy. I have to put academics at the top. So even if I do get overwhelmed, I would make sure that I'm hitting all the things at the top of my priority. But at the end of the day, it's still a case of time management, like and I'm not only a student, I also work. So working and schooling, it makes me very aware of my 24 hours in a day. So you have to be realistic with yourself. You have to understand
Mm.
what's important to you, and you have to make sure that you are consistent, because if you are consistent,
Mm.
you'll be able to build that like capacity over time to do what you need to do daily. So I'll say, yeah, that's how I approach mine.
Wow, brilliant. So you mentioned being realistic, time management, and consistency. Right, I think I got that. Yeah, which is then prioritization. Prioritization. Yeah. List of priorities. You have to identify your priorities. You have to be able to manage your time, and also being consistent with everything you're doing. Fantastic, to me. Thank you. So over to you, Victor. Do I need to repeat the question, or you got it, Victor? Victor.
Okay.
Uh, Victor, are you there with us?
Yes, I am. I am.
All right. So I said, do I need to repeat the question, which is, how do you balance schoolwork, then
Okay.
extracurriculum activities, your personal
Okay.
life as well? And I know that you're also working. So how do you do all
Yeah.
that?
All right. So you know, like I would say, education in Nigeria is quite tasky. Yeah, because you just get into class and you discover that, respectfully speaking, you are stretched to get researches done by yourself than you getting taught in class. All right. So I think the first thing I would say that helps me is number one, being aware of the kind of environment I found myself. Number two, vision. Everything is enshrined within the space of vision. Like my brother to me said, priority, consistency, time management, they are all enshrined within the space of vision. If you know what you want, if you set a goal, you must prioritize. You must be consistent. You must manage your time. And extracurricular activities like fellowships in school, student union, government, working, and all that stuff. What I do is every blessed day of my life, after every lecture, no matter how tired I am, I must just glance through my notes. Not really study. I glance through my notes, write other notes based on the understanding I've gotten from always at midnight. Just no matter how tired I am. So between 12 and 2, I do anything that has to do with finance. And then early in the morning, I used to begin sending the reports to whoever needs the report, goods to people that need it in the morning after they are being settled at night. So I sleep between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m., get those things done, resume class by 8 a.m., go, come back in the afternoon, continue. It just goes, it's enshrined within the space of vision because I don't want to fail in any aspect of my life. So vision is the answer for me. Yes, ma'am.
Having a vision board, like when you see that thing in front of you, this is what I want to do. It motivates you, gets you going, gets you focused on that. That's beautiful. Thank you both. So moving on. So how has mentorship impacted your personal growth and development? As a teenager, how has mentorship impacted you? Tommy.
Okay. I would say mentorship has impacted me mainly spiritually. Yeah, if I'm to think of in all the areas of my life, I think mentorship has impacted me more spiritually. And I would say the benefits of spiritual mentorship to me was having an environment to be able to ask questions, because no matter who you are, like you need to ask questions. So I'll say being able to ask those questions and getting immediate answers, and understanding the kind of mistakes your mentors might have made in the past and
Mm-hmm.
learning from them, just basically learning quickly from the mistakes that your mentors might have made, and having a quick feedback loop of any questions you may have. Those are the kind of things that are very, very like invaluable. And in a way, you might not be able to see the value of mentorship until time has passed, because I was just thinking, like of just last year, I was like, wow, like I just really thank God that I was in the path of this set of mentors. And you don't really see the value until time has passed. Like, okay, if I wasn't in the space of like these people, things could have gone like completely different. So I'll tell you, yeah, that's it for me.
Oh, fantastic. You mentioned something like having the opportunity to quickly ask questions, right? Yeah. Because if you don't have these mentors, you won't have that opportunity to say, okay, can you quickly help me with this question? Can you clarify some things for me? And you also said learning from their mistakes. Wow, that's fantastic, because that's one of the things that actually made me go into mentorship, really, because I want people to learn mistakes I've made. I don't want my mentees to make them. And I think we learned so that people can learn from our experience. So that's beautiful. Thank you, Tomi. And you said spiritually as well, which is really, really good. So over to you, Victor. How has mentorship impacted you so far in your journey?
Okay. Mentorship in my journey so far has impacted me so many ways. I think I learned by two strategies. First strategy is by asking questions. Yes, I'm very enthusiastic. I ask questions a lot. Second strategy is by observation. Yes, observation. I observe my mentors the way they get things done. I have mentors for ministry, I have mentors for my financial life, I have mentors for academics, I have mentors for relationships and all. So I observe a lot. And I think the third strategy by which I learn is stretching. When I'm being stretched beyond my limits. I will not want to mention certain names, but there are many mentors in my life that have stretched me beyond my limits. This kind of stretching where they don't care how you feel, they don't care if you are crying, they don't care if you are sick, they don't care if you are comfortable. Just get this thing done the way it's supposed to be done. And that stretching took place for some of them with me, it took place for years. And that thing has given me that mindset that I can get anything done, provided I just take my time to just set. So corrections have been made, stretchings have been made, I've been observing, and they have made impact in my life spiritually, some financially, some academically, and otherwise. So the most important thing for me is stretching me beyond my limits by any means necessary. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That's good. Stretching you beyond your limits. And that's why you have mentors, somebody that you're accountable to, somebody that is putting fire in your bum. Say, go, you can do it, Victor. And you also said different types of mentors in different areas, which is also very good. Yeah, spiritual mentors, financial mentors, and all that, because sometimes you do not want to put a round what do you call it, you need to make sure the person that is mentoring you in that particular field is an expert. Yeah, so that's really beautiful. You said observation, observing them, how do they get things done. Brilliant. I'm loving this. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. So moving on. Okay, so how do you in a world full of distractions, full of distractions, how do you prioritize? And when I say prioritize, how do you prioritize your relationship with God? Kumi, do you want to go first?
Okay. Yeah, I don't mind going first. I would say the first step to actually wanting to prioritize relationship to with God is firstly understanding what your current priority is, because you might say that your priority is your relationship with God, but like your priority, it might be something like, let's say you might have money above God, but like you are using God as a means to get money, or you have like status above God and you're using God as a means to get status. So I would say firstly you have to sit down and be honest with yourself of understanding what your current priority is. And if your current priority is not God, then sit down, try and understand why that is, and try and reorder the priority. So once you understand that your priority, once God is now your main priority, I would say you have to do everything in your power, within your capacity, to like to serve God, because that's your main priority. That's give yourself out, help people, develop yourself spiritually, and just give, like, in any way you can use your life as as a sacrifice towards God, then do that. So yeah.
Okay.
I like the fact that you said you need to sit down and reason or understand why God is not your first priority, which is beautiful. Which is beautiful. Thank you, Tommy. Victor, how about you?
Okay. So prioritizing my relationship with God is very straight and simple. My favorite scripture, let me say one of my favorite scriptures is Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. In the beginning, God. I know, not even just believe, I know that nothing in life should be done without God. There's no two way about it. Without God, the center of education, everything that has to do with the seven mountains of influence controlling the world system, was orchestrated by God. There are many things I do in school, I do in business, I do with leadership, I do with serving under mentors has been successful over time because of prioritizing God. So, how do I get this done? There is no day of my life that passes by without communicating with God. Respectfully speaking, many people feel maybe relating with God is just about praying in tongues, going to church on a Sunday morning. Yes, of course, those are primary actions. But I have this mindset that God is with me, God is with me, God is always around me. There are times where I just enter my room and I just ask Him, Father, what's the next step to take with this next phase of my life? No day will pass, no 24-hour clock will pass without me communicating with God. There are times whereby I have the least I can go with God every day is an hour. That is Bible study, prayers combined. That is when everywhere looks very, very tight. And then when there is space during free times, during seasons of holidays and all, we can stay all day, we can stay an hour, and then we can't push aside the dimension of retreating. Yeah, just shutting yourself against the noise, against people and all that. So for me, my prioritizing God number one is on the ground of consciousness. That everything
Mm.
around centers on God. And then number two, this principle called consistency. And I'll say number three, discipline. Yeah, there are times you don't just feel like doing anything spiritual, but you just have to because it's part of your life. So those are the three factors for me when it has to do with my priority with God.
Yeah. I'm trying not to forget. Yeah, you have to remain consistent. Yeah, you said that. And sometimes you don't feel like doing it, but you just have to because it's part of your call. You need to be obedient. You need to keep doing it. And also understanding that in the beginning was God, and so God remains a constant factor in your life. Fantastic, thank you. You also mentioned discipline. You have to be disciplined. Thank you. So we spoke about mentorship earlier, and I wanted to ask, is there a specific advice that you've gotten from a mentor whatsoever or whoever has been that person, and that you've been running with, or that you can't just forget it, or it made it resonated with you when you got that advice, and that you've been using and you would not mind sharing with us today, a piece of advice or a particular.
Yeah. I sorry, Victor. I don't know if you want to start or.
No, no, you can
Victor.
start. We can just follow that order.
Okay, okay, all right. So I'll say something I remember so vividly was I don't know who's watching, but like Mr. Wally, Mr. Wally, sorry, what is Mr. Wally? Yeah, Mr. Wally, when he said there was one Sunday school where he was just teaching, and he was saying that if we are people who read our Bibles like consistently, and we give ourselves to spiritual things, that our mates would come to us for advice. You'd reach a point where your mates would come to you asking you questions
Mm,
and things like that. And I would say, fortunately enough, I'm someone who I don't know why, a lot of my friends just come to ask me, oh, what should I do with this? What should I do with that? I straight up just used to give them Bible, but codedly, like I'll be codedly telling them things straight from the Bible, but just in a way. So I noticed that, and after I give them that advice, they'll be like, oh wow, that actually makes a lot of sense. Meanwhile, I'm just going like straight off the Bible. So I would say, yeah, just hearing that if you are someone who understands the word of God, you'll be considered wise among your peers and stuff like that's something I've really held on till this day.
yeah, that is brilliant because, in short, you'll be relevant.
Yeah.
That's that. Yeah, you'll be relevant, and I like that as well, because I tell people that when you have knowledge, when you're wise, when you know things, people will come and ask you. And sometimes when you don't even know it, but you just give it to them like, oh, do you know, I'm not so sure, but I'm going to think about it. They will believe you, and next time they're going to ask you, they're going to wait, because they're going to say, oh, let's go and ask Tommy, let's go and ask Victor. He would know. So that's why you will be relevant, and they would actually really respect you for who you are. That's fantastic. Yeah, thank you, Tommy. That's a good one. And I hope people are watching this. I hope teenagers out there, young adults are also learning from this. Victor, can you share with us?
Okay, I think I learned this. I've learned a lot from a couple of mentors, Coach Kiki, Okuwale, Auntie Folake, Auntie Tima, Apostle Michael Urupo, a whole lot of you. And time will fail me to start mentioning all I've learned, but let me just make the most recent peak with Folake Akumbiade. I worked with her a couple of months during the holidays, and what I learned was just one word. It's not that deep. I've seen times where she would come to the office in down moments. Maybe it looks as if the atmosphere is all filled with pressure. Times where she doesn't just feel like things are just going on, but she will still come to work with energy, still get things done. Whether there is pain, whether there is, we still get things done. There are times where she has this ability to switch. Yes, she cannot be all jovial now, and then when it's as if you want to take that jovial atmosphere for granted and want to get carried away, she will call you back to order with strictness. I learned balance. I learned resilience. When I'm
Mm,
standing in the midst of storms, in the midst of temptations, no matter how bad I think I feel, no matter how I would want to feel, I can't get this done. I'll just tell that situation, it's not that deep. I will get it done. I just finished my exams, and there was this course everybody was afraid of. I studied history and international relations. It's a double honors course, so the workload is really much. Yeah. So everybody's literally afraid of that course. And I would not lie, I was sensing fear from within. But when I told myself it's not that deep, I discovered that being bold is not the absence of fear. It's just your
mm,
ability to think when fear tries to rise. That's boldness.
mm,
Yes. So I just told myself it's not that deep. I began to read cover to cover, cover to cover. Guess what? When I got to the hall, answer 5 questions. I only had an idea about three. The other two, I didn't have any idea. I didn't read it. And then
mm,
I answered the 3 questions. I still looked at the other 2 questions. It's not that deep. I started writing. Now, you know this energy where you write something you are not sure of. But coming out from the
mm.
exam or from your notebook, you discovered you wrote the right thing. That was what happened to me.
Oh, it's
Yes.
not.
Exactly. So I learned from that word. I also learned about observation. I can not be feeling so well right now, but when I know I am supposed to pray, when I know I'm supposed to read, when I know I'm supposed to get a particular financial stuff done, I just have to get it done. So I've learned that life is not all that emotional. Yeah, it's based on
Mm,
discipline. Yes.
fantastic, fantastic. See, so Tommy, I'm going to ask you this. Have there been moments when you've been faced with doubts, unsure, and how did you manage that? How did you actually overcome such a moment where you've been faced with challenges and doubts? Have you
Yeah,
had such a moment?
I was facing a very challenging moment sometime around 2021. Someone I really respected really disappointed me, and it was very bad. Like, it was like I couldn't believe it, right? And it was sort of like a betrayal, mixed with
Mm,
disappointment. And it like changed my whole like worldview. And I started having thoughts like things like, okay, if um if because it was like I was thinking of it in terms of on a spiritual level, like if
mm,
God exists, right, he wouldn't allow something like this to happen to me. Like, there is no way, if God is real, that this kind of thing, he will allow this kind of things to happen to me. And so what I started doing in that moment was, first I faced the temptation to just like leave everything I know, like in terms of like Christianity. Like, I just wanted to leave and just do my own thing. But actually, I might just saying a prayer or something like, if God is like, God, if you are hearing me, just reveal yourself to me, show me, so I don't just go off the rails and stuff. Because I was really at that point. And at that point in time, I started talking to a lot of people. I started like people around me. Like, firstly, I made sure not to isolate myself, right, in the middle of
mm,
the challenges. I made sure not to isolate myself, and I made sure to read about people who are going through similar situations. And I also made sure to understand like what like the Bible says about like when you're facing doubts, challenges, and things like that. So if anything, and I even started going to church more, so instead of like running away. So I would
Yeah.
say I just like everything that was coming naturally for me to do in terms of isolating myself. I just did the opposite of it. Instead of not talking to people, I made sure to talk to people. Instead of isolating myself and not going out, I made sure to go out. And instead of, just closing my mind off to any ideas, I made sure to read about, specific situations that apply to what I was going through. So yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. So many lessons there. So Victor, I'm going to ask you this. How do you manage distractions? How do you, try to stay focused on God?
Okay.
And yeah, in the light of if you've also been faced with any challenging moments or period in your life, how did you get back on track and how do you stay focused on God? As a
So,
as go on.
okay, as a young person, right, there's a lot. Just like Tomi said, my challenging moment too was in 2021. I don't know what's up with that year though, but 2021 was also a very trying moment for me. I don't know if it was 2021. I remember vividly I was invited to the HTH boot camp, and that day I was just so overwhelmed with a lot. You know this vibe where you're overwhelmed with a lot, but you just get text from mentors that okay, we want you to take this session, we want you to take that session. You just can't say no. Yeah, out of honor, you just can't say no. So I remember that day, but little principles I forgot. Principles like keeping to time, principles like okay, when you want to make a reference, you make sure you make a reference to whoever is the set man over the space you are talking and all. And it was really a down moment for me that year. But one thing that I've learned so far, especially that year, that has helped me keep focused is no matter how emotional I may be in a season, I'm always praying to God for an external voice to call me back to order. I pray that prayer every time in a down moment. So I remember that day after I was done with that session at HCH Boot Camp, I remember it was Coach Kiki that met me and said, next time when you want to make a reference, when you are talking, you make a reference to whoever is the set man over the space you are talking about. I don't know how that thing happened, but that statement alone sounded simple. But it actually brought about this consciousness that no matter the down moments I have to be very aware of my environment. Yes. So after that, there was this peace I began to feel like I couldn't explain. And anytime I'm in that moment, I'm always very conscious of my environment because I know God will surely send someone, either a mentor, either a peer, whoever, to call me back to order. Then number two, in a generation as this, my generation is full of distractions. Like God, I wonder the generation of my own children will be. But anyways, there's a lot going on. The media, campus, even in the church of God, we find distractions a lot. You see jealousy, you see competition and all that stuff. How do I still set my gaze on God in the midst of distractions? Number one, I love retreating. I love retreats.
Okay.
I'm never too busy to go on a retreat, never too busy. As risky as it may sound, there are seasons of my life where I shut down social media. If there are jobs, I give it to certain of my friends who are capable of doing it. When I come back, we'll talk about sharing percentage and all that stuff. I just have that season of shutting my head against the noise. I learned that thing from the story of Jesus. Irrespective of times where he casted out devils, healed the sick, raised the dead, gathered thousands of people, fed them. The Bible would always say that there were seasons where he went to the backside of the mountain. He went to the wilderness, his head, just to be alone with God. So I love retreat a lot. Number two, like I said earlier, no matter the pressure, I must stay consistent with God. Let me even confess publicly. Any season I say I want to do without God, for a week, for 1 month, everything I did in my past will begin to try to rise again. Is that bad? Is that bad? If we don't do again, friends we felt we don't talk to again, all this social media stuff that we used to do then that used to cause trouble, that we claim we don't do again, each time I just cut that bridge between me and God. Maybe because of our confidence or busy schedules, I just try to see that, okay, I'm going back to my vomit. So retreating, of course, and consistency. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. I love that retreating. You need to just say, okay, this period of time I want to have a retreat with God and all that. That's beautiful. So let's talk about social media. To me, social media is a big part of teenagers' life right now, like almost everybody's life. So how do you maintain a healthy balance? And when I say healthy balance, I mean I can't tell you now, for instance, told me don't go on social media, don't go on Facebook anymore and all that. So how do you maintain a healthy balance between online time and real life activities? Like how do you maintain a certain focus, and how do you help yourself to kind of restrict yourself to productive activities on social media?
Okay. I would say personally, this is something which I am also still a work, in progress in, but I would say it's so important for you to have like friends around you, because that's really the first thing. Like you don't just want to just go out doing anything. Like you want to make sure you have a good friendship group, like wherever you are. So I would say the first thing is, if you personally notice that, oh wow, I've actually been on TikTok for the last like 3 hours, I've been on this thing for the first 4 hours. Like the first step is actually being honest with yourself. Like you don't have to attack yourself that, oh, let me just throw my phone away. You just have to straight up just be honest and be like, oh,
Honest, yeah.
I've actually spent too much time on this. Is there a way that I could be more productive using my time on things in person? So I would say the first step is honesty. You just have to be honest, like, okay, I use this thing too much. What else can I do with my time? And once you're honest with yourself, the second thing is, like going out with your friends in person. Like if you have like good responsible friends, like wherever you are, just say, oh guys, let's go to a park, like go somewhere, just and let me use, for example, if you're someone, like if you're in university, like there's definitely like a Bible study group in your university. There are definitely different clubs, and different, if you can join yourself to a community as well. This is even
Mm,
outside church, make sure to do that. And the other thing is, when you're also on social media, try and use it to your advantage. Don't just like scroll through, like don't just scroll through comments like all the time. Like say, okay, I want to use some time to learn something, like figure out what you're interested in. And even while you're using your phone or while you're using the internet, try and make sure you take out some time to learn, some things you're interested in. So it's a case of, when you're using your phone, you can't necessarily just call it a bad thing, because you're also using that time to learn stuff, because you can miss out on some things if you don't use social media. So you need to
yeah.
make sure you use it to a reasonable degree, learn things. You can connect with people, but be honest with yourself when it's too much. And also in person, make sure to connect yourself to a community. Don't isolate yourself, because if you're not connected to any community, there's almost no reason for you to go out or do any real in-person activities, because you're not going out with anybody. There's no community and there's no anything. So I'll say that's like a good balance for me.
Hmm. Yeah, a good balance. You have to balance it being honest with yourself and also learning some skills, so that while on social media you're also doing some things that are very productive and not just wasting your time. Victor, do you want to add to that?
Yes. Number one, my first definition for my use of social media is productivity. If I'm not doing anything productive, no matter how tempting it is, I don't pick up my phone. Productivity, I mean, when it has to do with business, when it has to do with academic research, when it has to do with doing ministry, talking on a conference or speaking in a conference online, or an assignment given by mentors. Then number two, let me use the word fun times. I have fun times once every week, once every week, and it's always 1 hour in the evening. Yeah, 1 hour in the evening. Like after this session, there is a movie I planned to watch, a gospel movie that just came out today. Yeah, so I always have fun times. Then number three, I have accountability partners when it has to do with my use of social. accountability partners. Even I even forgot to mention it. Even when it has to do with my relationship with God, every aspect of my life, I have accountability partners. People that can put me in check. People that can tell that, see, guy, I am losing balance. I'm overdoing things. Anytime you see, there are some of my friends when they see that I'm online and then the only thing I'm posting are memes. The next thing they'll just call me, Oga, have you forgotten that the reason why you always make use of social media based on your policy is to do something very productive? Yes. So each
Mm.
time they just say that, I'll just go back and go and delete and be like, God have mercy, and start from scratch. So for me, it is defined by productivity, and then it is defined by accountability partners, and of course, fun times that are very, very much modulated. Yes.
Wow, 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 wow. Accountability partners and all. I'm trying to find my way around the comments. I don't know why I can't see people's comments, and I'm just trying to do that. Okay, so thank you for that. Beautiful contributions, guys. So is there a particular goal that you are chasing right now? Do you have a personal or spiritual, professional goal that you're chasing right now? And how do you stay on, on that path of achieving your goal? How do you stay focused on achieving your goal? Do you have a goal you want to share with us, Tommy?
Okay. Yeah, I would say so. Um, so let me just give an example of, a goal I recently achieved and, one I'm currently working towards. I was trying to get an internship, for my, current like career path, like software engineering. And, so what I did was, I tried to understand like all the steps I needed to get it to like start preparing myself to get internship. And basically I set up like um a weekly and daily plan. So basically setting long-term and short-term goals. And
Hmm.
the days that I feel lazy to to do it, I put myself in a mindset of, would I be better off if I do this thing now in the future, or if I don't do it now? So I would say setting long-term and short-term goals, and also having the discipline to make sure you show up every day regardless of it. So I did achieve my goal of securing a job. And so the next goal I set for myself was learning some things that that would help me excel in the job. So what I basically just followed the same method, setting long-term, setting short-term goals, and making sure to like show up every day, because it's very important. Like no matter how tired, no matter
Hmm.
how like lazy you are, because even when you start what you're trying to achieve, you are going to have bad days. So making sure to show up regardless of your good days and your bad days will always keep you like on track. But at the same time, you always have to be realistic when setting goals. Like you should want to push yourself to achieve higher, but you always have to be realistic. You always have to show up. And sometimes, you have to give yourself grace. Like if you are not in the right state to actually achieve a goal, sometimes it's better to actually relax and, think of, try to relax, reorient yourself, and come back to try and achieve that goal when you're in the right state to do everything you need to do. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, good, good, fantastic. Thank you. Victor, do you want to add to that?
Yes. First of all, my goals are so much, but let me just mention my goal for the next 5 years. For the next 5 years, I want to grow to that point where I can speak on any stage across the world system. When I use the word any stage, I'm not really talking about fame. I'm talking about having that ability to speak to children, to teenagers, to youth, to adults, about finance, about relationship, about God, about I've read books, I've written everything down. Yes, there are many examples I can cite that have that ability to teach on the ground of balance. Yes, that everything that makes up the human space can be taught on or can be taught about. Yes,
Mm.
that's my goal. So there are many things. I give myself a goal that if I'm lazy. I should be able to complete a book every month. That aside my academic books, that's one thing I've been working with for 2 years now. And there are times you just fall sick because of your hunger to just sacrifice things and work towards your goals.
Hmm. Victor, are you still with us?
Of getting these things done, maybe having to clear his head. Even in the midst of those times, I still pick up that journal. I will glance through it that day before I go and sleep. I know this is the time where I'm not really following it up because of maybe I'm having a downtime emotionally or maybe health wise. But I still feel taking up that journal to read it and remind myself is still part of the process for me. Yes, I just can't dump that book and make it all dusty. So that I know that once I gaze on it every blessed day of my life, once I'm okay, I just know that guy, you left this thing behind you, are okay, you have to go back to it. So I have a lot of goals. I build myself to achieve those goals on the ground of consistency and consciousness. Yes. So that's that for me.
Yeah, consistency and consciousness. Fantastic. Well done. So, technology, we're talking about how it can be a distraction as well. It's also a tool. Is there a particular way you maybe you're making money using technology, or there's a business you're doing online and all that? Is there how do you use technology to your own advantage while minimizing its, disadvantages or effects? Is there any one of you, are you in any particular business where you make money online, or there's something you're using technology to achieve? We are almost rounding up anyway, so
Okay, yeah. So me personally, I sort of use I haven't gotten to like the point where I use technology to like make direct money or anything like that. But like I just use technology to like improve my skills. Because I'm studying like computer science, doing software engineering. So I use like online resources to do online courses. Like for example, if there's a skill I need to learn, I would go and do an online course on it. Or if there's a book, because I try to read a lot, so I read most on my phone. So, I take online courses online, and I also read a lot online. So those are really the two like main ways I use technology to like to up myself. So yeah. Let me
okay.
use, for example, if someone like if you also
Victor, do you want to add to that?
online. So those
Yeah.
are really
Same here. I use technology to sharpen my skills to get researches done to ensure I'm always current with the happenings of the day. Number two, I do certain businesses online, social media management. Number two, copywriting. Number three,
Mhm.
since I do coaching. Number four, affiliate marketing. Yes, and I want to add the fifth to the collection, which is forex trading. I'm just waiting for the right time to get it done. Yeah, so that's my take on that. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good, good, good. So, two more and we'll be done. Thank you, guys. Thank you for staying with me so far. So, I want to say, let me start with Tommy. There's this thing about, okay, if you're abroad, there's no how you send a child abroad, how would they cope? And like, there's so many misconceptions around that if you travel out and you're schooling or something. So, um, is there a particular thing, or have you been coping, being abroad, living your life, working, studying, and remaining focused on your goals?
yeah.
How's it been? Do you want to share that with
Okay.
us?
Yeah, so I would say me personally, like growing up, my parents gave me a lot of freedom,
How's it
right?
been? Do you
Even
want to
when I
share
was
that
in
with us?
Nigeria, I always had a lot of freedom to do like mostly what I wanted to do. So when I got here, there wasn't really like a major there wasn't a major switch, but there is a difference. The difference is, if someone asks you a question back home, you can lie easily, right? Because no one can see you, right? You can do whatever you want, but back home, maybe it's easier for your parents to like verify But like here, there is almost no way for anyone to verify anything you're doing. So, which means, if you are off track in any way, you will feel the consequences quicker than, anyone. Basically, you learn a sense of responsibility very quickly, and you realize that, every single thing you do, you feel the consequence almost immediately as well. So, I would say you still have to set another priority. You have to realize that, I'll say like somewhere like abroad, like you can literally do anything you want. Like if you want to do, like if you want to spoil your life, right, it's not hard, right? It's actually very easy. If you want to go off the rails, do anything, like it's just easy, like anywhere. So you really have to understand what is very, very important to you, and make sure that, no matter what, you don't you don't allow yourself fall off the trails. And it's also very important to have like friends. Like if you need to have reasonable friends who like who think properly and who are also focused on things, for themselves. Because you can say that you're someone who's not easily influenced, but if
Mm,
you move from wherever you are abroad and you are within a circle of people who can influence you, or who you even depend on in some way, and they take you to the wrong tracks, like it won't be easy to come back. So I'll say having friends is very important, but you have to be very true to yourself in terms of like what you're trying to achieve, because it is, as you have to be honest with yourself, that it's very easy to get distracted. So you just have to focus on what's important and make sure you remember why you came, and remember
mm.
that you have an image to preserve, and anything that happens to you also reflects on your parents and the people who are proud of you and things like that. So yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Well done, Tommy. Loads of things you've said there. So, Victor, now from your own angle, yeah, you're in Nigeria, and how do you cope with distractions in Nigeria? Because that's what I say. That's why I tell people it's not about where you are; it's about what is in you. So, for you, Victor, in Nigeria, distractions. Tell me about it. How do you cope?
Okay. Um, I would say coping and modulating my activities because I know I have something to do within the space of the world system. I know 5 years too much. I'll get things done in different nations of the world. I'm very sure. And if I do not take my season on campus as a training season, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to destroy a lot of things for myself. I always tell people campus in America, campus in the UK, campus in Canada, campus in Nigeria, campus in any nation of the world is a training camp for every young person. And you
Yes.
can you can tell that I can only tell anybody with no apologies attached that if you miss it on campus, it will take time for you to have to rearrange yourself after campus. It will take time. So for example, here in Nigeria, of course, there are a lot of people, we all know the way the Nigerian culture is now, where most parents lock us in the house, don't talk to a girl, and the girl don't talk to a boy, and all that stuff. They will lock you in, just church on Sundays. And most young people, when they get on campus here in Nigeria, they tend to just have that freedom for the first time. Whatever they have been restricted from doing over the years, it is time to just explore. So if you see people that will dress so good on Sunday, for example, back in the city of Abuja, and then the school here in Lafayette, Nasarawa State, and they dress so good on a Sunday morning back in Abuja, then when they come to school, they're going for parties all night, dressing half naked. The moment they want to go back home, if they dye their hair blonde, they will dye it black because they know their parents will kill them.
Mm.
Pressure, there are people that come.
So it happens in Nigeria as well. It's not only abroad. Told me don't laugh. Go on,
So,
Victor.
so
Cutting,
Victor's.
good thing, just come and unwind, just come and. But let me tell you how I'm coping is because I'm busy. It has helped me. I'm
Oh,
very
keeping
busy.
yourself busy. Good.
Exactly. I went to church in the morning, 7. I was done by 9. From 9, we had a chapel leaders meeting between 9 and 12. Between 12 and 3, we're already set up for the meeting that was hold by 4. I think the meeting is still going on. How to leave for this session. Now, after I'm done, I'll still go back to school, get some studies done, do some all night prayer. By the time they are doing all these things, you don't know you don't have time. There is no time. So I think one of the things that used to make young people misbehave is joblessness. respectfully speaking. That don't easily be influenced, trust me. Yeah. So I'm occupied with a lot. I just ensure I'm doing things productive every day of my life. And goals, yes, goals every day helps one some distractions. So that's that for me. And of course, God is really yes.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow. I love that. Thank you, guys. Amazing submission. So, I'm going to ask you this very funny question. And you know me, I'm sure you guys are used to me. So are you guys in any relationship?
Um, for me,
Was
no.
it
I'm currently not in any relationship.
okay? Victor? Because it's like your
Mama,
internet skills.
yeah, for me, no, actually. Believe me. Mama say you're looking at me, open your eyes. No, actually, I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not.
just leave it. All right. So
I'm,
I'm going to ask. So my next question is why? I mean, like you're in campus, you can do whatever you want to do. Mommy is not there, daddy is not there, and Coach Kiki is not there. No mentor is there with you. Why? Tommy.
Okay. So I would say the way I view relationships now is way different from how I used to view it, would I say, before I got into like, university. So I would say there's a certain level of stability that you need to be in before you get into a relationship. I know stability just sounds something like financial, but not really. Like
Hmm.
for example, in somewhere like somewhere like Canada, for example, that accepts a lot of immigrants and like people like that. Like people's circumstances change very quickly. So you would see someone here and you're like, okay, let me start a relationship with this person, but like you guys might most likely not be in the same place, in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years. Like it's a very fast changing environment. And I feel that if you are not like fully settled, like settled in the sense that okay, you are based somewhere, you have a full-time job somewhere, like I'm not sure it's really wise, to get into a relationship because things change very, very fast. And and by like if you want to love somebody, right, if you want to be in a relationship with someone, like by like default you would want it to last for a very long time. So you don't just want to get into a relationship with anybody. Like it's not a game, like it's not a joke. And
Hmm.
relationship can also be a very huge distraction if
Hmm.
if you end up with the wrong person. If you end up with the right person, it can actually be a booster in a way, but if you end up with the wrong person, it can also be very bad. So I would say if there's any like if you are faced with a decision whether to get into one, like it's always better to move slower than faster, in terms of getting into a relationship. So yeah, I would say that's just how I think about it now. So I would say that's why I'm just taking my time and understanding that, whatever I want, I would want it to last rather than, just like adding numbers or things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, no. Good. So for you, Victor, I would say, why you not? Because I want to believe maybe around you, you're on campus there, and a lot of people are in it. Why you not? What's keeping
okay.
you?
Okay. What's keeping me single is my mindset about relationships. Personally, I have this ideology that a relationship is supposed to lead to courtship, then eventually marriage. And we live in a generation where people view relationship on the ground of sex alone. Of course, yeah, anything romantic. That's just what when the weather is cold in school here, they just know who to meet, who to go and spend time with. That's not my mindset about relationship. There are many things I've thought about relationship. I've seen couples who have grown themselves together till they got married. Where the guy is adding value to her life, the lady is adding value to his life. They are growing. I may not say on the same pace, but yes, they are making progress. And then number two, the reason why I'm single is because there are a lot of distractions, and it's very, very, very possible to make a mistake in the midst of these distractions. You will see different girls come with different reasons. Some will tell you they had a dream, they saw you with white suit and they were white gown and all that stuff. Some are coming around you because you're one of the best in class. Some are coming
Mm,
around you because you're one of the prominent leaders in school. Some are coming
mm,
around you because you're one of the anointed guys on campus, and for different reasons, different reasons. And if you check, if you can't find that person, the right person, at the right time, for the right reason, it's a no-no for me. Yes. So that's just the
Thank
reason. So the moment I
you.
find the right person at the right time for the right reason, of course, I'll certainly let all my mentors know. We'll let you all know.
Well done, guys. Amazing session. Thank you, guys. I mean, thank you for keeping it real from the beginning. And now we are about rounding up. And so, lastly, what advice would you give to other teenagers, who are striving to thrive in the age of distraction? What advice do you have for them? How do you advise them to deal with all these distractions? Tommy, last word from you.
Yeah, I would say dealing with distractions, back to what I've said before, you just have to be true with yourself. You have to
Mm,
understand the long-term effects of everything you're doing now. You have to think of it that, okay, if I develop myself every day, what would the impact be in 10 years? Or if I don't develop myself every day, what would the impact be in the next 10 years? Because you would, by God's grace, live to the next 10 years. So you have to, think of the impact of what you do every day. And I'd have to say, be gracious with yourself, take it easy,
mm.
take it easy on yourself, and make sure to be have compassion and show love, to the people around you, and try and help people too. If you see anyone is distracted, like, also try and offer yourself to help people who are distracted. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Mm, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you. That was very good and beautiful. Um, yeah, I love the fact that you said be gentle with yourself. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Talk to people, ask questions. Thank you, Tommy. Victor, from you, last word.
Okay, for me, the first factor every young person growing up and striving to become valuable in his or her
Mm,
generation must first of all embrace the God factor. I hold this on the very highest esteem, the God factor. Yes.
but-
There is no great person. There is no great person on earth that's not working life, working out purpose without the backing of his spirit. Nobody has an extraordinary result without the backing of his spirit. The geniuses around the world I also celebrate, where do they get inspiration from? Most of
mm,
their inspirations were not taught in schools, were not taught in universities, were not written in any book. They pioneered these things and wrote them on books for the next generation to learn from. So I believe so much in the God factor. Pray, fast, have a fellowship on campus in your secondary schools, have a personal time with God, be accountable. My generation is very hard for us to be very
mm,
accountable, very hard. We just have this vibe that we can get things done by ourselves, but no, it's not done. We may not really understand until we become parents. That's why we know why the generation before us are always saying this your generation. All right. So the God factor is very important. Number two, I believe in value. I believe in value a whole lot. Just strive to grow to that point of value. Very important. Grow spirit, soul, and body. That's the balance of growth. Take care of
mm,
yourself, eat your way necessary, exercise. When it has to do with your soul, that's the mind dimension. Feed your mind, let your mind grow. Read valuable books, watch valuable content, listen to valuable words from valuable people, ask questions, of course. Then, of course, the spirit part, just grow your spiritual life, all right? Then I think the third and final factor I put so much in is this thing called balance. I love it so much. I love it so much. This
mm. Is Victor still with us? Um,
then begin to tell people this guy is intelligent but he does not have manners, or this guy
mm,
has manners. The problem is that he's not good academically, or this guy is good academically. The problem is that he is a fornicator. Anything that would add, but I know we are all projects in progress, but you know what I mean by the word but. People should just see that, okay, when it has to do with integrity, excellence, character, your factor with God, everything should just be intact. This is the last thing I'm saying. Jesus is the perfect example. Jesus said that the prince of the world cometh unto me, and he findeth nothing. Another
mm,
person I love so much is Abraham. The Bible also says that Abraham was blessed in all things. And another
mm.
example I love is Daniel. They sought for an allegation against Daniel, they could find nothing. Yes.
Okay.
So that's the point of balance. And I believe the greatest ways are valuable for help. Yes.
Fantastic, guys. Fantastic. Amazing. Yeah. God factor, values, balancing it out. Because I know, you have to balance it. You don't want to go, this person, well, balancing everything out, God factor, and be true to yourself, like Tommy also said, then have values. Make sure you're standing for something. If not, you will fall for everything. Fantastic, guys. I'm wowed. Thank you. And I will say it again, like I usually tell you guys. I am super, super duper proud of you. So thank you for coming here today. And I hope everybody, I'm so sorry I couldn't read comments, but I'll go back and watch and also reply your comments. So thank you guys. Thank you for coming, and I will see you again. So bye, bye, bye. Thank
Thanks for
you.
having us, ma'am. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh,
Bye.
thank
Bye.
you. Thank
Bye,
you.
Victor.
Thank
Bye,
you,
everyone.
sir. Thank you,
Bye
Tommy.
bye.
Bye, everybody. So
Yeah.
until the next time when we bring another interesting topic on Alpha Teens Corner. See you guys. Bye.